Hello, everyone. With society continuously changing, the way we work also obviously continuously changes. And in this kind of situations, it is always very interesting to have people who are proactively looking into the future and trying to assess where we are going to go towards. This is why we're very happy to today have a keynote of Diogo Mendonça, who is going to explain us a little bit how the future will look like in the perspective. Diogo has been working for a company called B Engineering, which is an engineering company which is focused on providing services in energy, chemical, and pharmaceutical sector. Even though the company started only 10 years ago, it has managed to develop and perfect their own methodologies to ensure mutually beneficial collaborations with their customers. Diogo has been working at B Engineering for almost 8 years and has the habit of transforming his knowledge in added value for the community, his clients, and partners. As the B Engineering Operations Director, he looks to each organization challenge and builds solutions and opportunities. In this keynote, we will travel 10 years into the future and talk about how fast the status quo in the business world changed. Before we start, I would like to remind our viewers that you're all very welcome to post your questions for Diogo in the comments on this stream in YouTube or Facebook. That's it. I will give the floor to Diogo to share with us his thoughts on the new normal of work.
Yeah, so hi everyone. Thank you so much, Sena and Best, and thanks for inviting. I'm going to try to share today in a very brief talk what we believe, me and the team believe to be, the new normal of work. It's going to be a very short preview into that, so I'll leave my contact at the end if you want to reach out. I do enjoy to be involved in the community, so really do feel free to do so. Okay, so I'm going to share just quick presentation that we did, which has a couple of topics that I want to share. So, Senna, if you cannot see my screen, do let me know again. Okay, thank you. So you guys, the new normal of work. I'm gonna share 4 topics. Give me 1 second. Okay, so 10 years and 10 days. Well, we called it like this because, companies all around the world had to push their digital transformation and the adoption of remote workforce, for example, in a very short amount of time. Businesses had to adapt. Some of them couldn't, which, they're kind of struggling at this time. So we're all just learning as we go as well. So I'm not going to share with you a very absolute answer for anything. I'm just going to share some ideas because I do believe that, if we all share our solutions, the sum of all of us may come up with a better option. So 10 years and 10 days, how's the job market going to be tomorrow? Is it going to change that much? I don't really think so. But I do believe it's shifting for the better. So the work methods, of course, it's kind of an obvious question, but I want to share it with you. And the work relations, will they change that much? So just one quotation that I really, really enjoy, that I follow on a personal level, and of course on a professional level as well, which is it's by Albert Einstein, because everyone knows Albert Einstein, but try to look at every difficulty as an opportunity. And if you do so, that will change the way that you build your career. Okay, so that has helped me a lot in the past years, and I truly believe this. So 10 years and 10 days, guys. Companies had to refocus in a very, very, very short amount of time. We're all doing that at this time. Okay, but it kind of pushed the market forward very fast, which is good. It is good. In the most majority of situations, it's a good thing. So flexible work, it's going to be the new normal. It's not new to us, to be engineering. I'm in the tech branch of the company. So the company has 10 years, but in technology, we have 7. And I joined the company at the beginning in Portugal, in Lisbon. That's where I am at the moment. I am Portuguese as well. We were born a multinational. So remote work, remote collaboration was status quo for us. It's how we had to do business. But of course, we needed to adapt further at this time. But flexible work is going to be the new normal. For example, It's going to be focused on the quality of what you bring, much rather than the amount of time that you spend within office walls, which is the fourth line, which means productivity. We have a saying in Portugal, which is when you have more liberty to do as you please, that brings more responsibility. So I would say that that's the key factor. It's finding the best approach for each department, for each team inside a company, and bear in mind that it's going to be flexible from now on. It's not going to be, I would say, 9 to 5, very strict 9 to 5 work in the future, because this coronavirus pandemic, it kind of awoken the market to realize that we needed to adapt. Because unfortunately, this might happen again in the future, and we need to be ready for that, because the market can stop and our lives can stop. So remote workforce, it's going to be a long-term trend. I can give you an example. We do a lot of work, of course, for other countries outside Portugal. I have a particular project in the UK, in London based, which we work in Lisbon with them as well. And the guys that initially came up with the team and me, well, they asked me to do remote work since day one. And I said, okay, not a problem. So we came up with a schedule. We left out Mondays and Fridays because it's, people tend to be more comfortable after and post weekend. So they avoided that days, but Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, they could be remote. And that has worked amazingly well since the first day. So remote workforce, and this is just an example that most companies were not that keen into it. It's going to be the new normal. Okay. And the mindset. So I think I have, kind of talked about the mindset at this time, but this remote mindset, this productivity mindset is going to be the key factor, in my opinion. Okay. So the job market, how is it going to be tomorrow? Just a very short comparison on some key topics that the industry is talking about, or the job market is talking about. Of course, you used to work on site, you're going to do remote, at least partially, you're going to do it, or are doing it this time. The meetings, well, most companies had the idea that they needed to be face to face. Well, guess what? It's not possible at this time, so they're going to be virtual. You just need the right technology to do so. But that's it. Will you be more productive? Will you, have less success? I don't think so, because you do have the option to, at some point, pick up the plane or the car, or the train or the bus or whatever, and meet the person face to face. Shake his hand, look him into the eyes. So I do believe that it's going to be like a mixed percentage of meeting persons face to face, but mostly it's going to be virtual. And before, the office was, the default office. I don't think I need to dwell into that. And now it's going to be maybe at a conference center, or maybe you're going to have a shared office space. We at this time we're about 190 people in Portugal connected to tech, to ICT. And we have teams in all over the country. And we do have another office in the country. So they're all spread. The office in another city in Porto, which is the second largest city in the country, people work there some days they don't, but this is a shared space as well. So it's going to be different, but if you focus on productivity, it's not going to affect that much, in my opinion, of course. And I do have some experience working remotely in the past, because I worked for Microsoft for 2 years for the US. And I worked with many different countries at that time. It was a worldwide position. So I had to adapt to time schedules in Russian and China and Brazil and Venezuela and so on, and the US, of course. So did it mean that much? Did it affect my work that much? No, it didn't. Was I permanently at the Lisbon office? No, I wasn't. Do I felt the need to be there? Yes, I did. And this is, of course, a personal opinion, but I do enjoy being with people at the office, and I think that matters. at least at some point. So the before, you have commute, which is a very good thing. You're not going to have that much commute, which is amazingly good for the environment as well. And let's not forget about it. The business travels were the default. They're not going to be that often. They're not happening at this time, of course, and they will happen less in the future. People will adapt to that. It's gonna be like the shift of mindset as well. That idea that you had to, again, shake the person's hand face to face. It's going to change a lot, but people will be more prepared for that. So it's going to be easy, I think. Team building events were face to face. So at this time, or the post pandemic, companies, they realized they could not be that much prepared on a medical and a health and safety policies. They're preparing more for that. So that's going to be a very strong push and focus in the future as well. I'm not saying that it wasn't. I'm just saying that it's going to be more tight in a good way. Business travels will probably be the essential ones, like a closing or a celebration or an important technical discussion. They're not just going to be to have follow up or steering meetings. That won't make much sense in the future. And of course, you're going to have a lot of team building events online, which I might share with you that we have done, or I can share with you that we have done some. We always did, by the way, but we have done some more, and people feel really good about it. And we're spread across Europe. We also have offices in Belgium. We're spread across Europe, and we have done it, so it works really well. Okay. So, just for you guys that might work in the future in one of those big companies, these are some examples of some big companies that have shifted completely. So, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Spotify, and so on. Some of them have completely shifted to remote work. So, some of them have closed their permanent, default offices. So this is clearly a sign to everyone that the market is shifting. We're adapting, but it's going to be okay. It's not going to affect how companies grow and impact the market. It's just a matter of finding the right methods for the future. Okay, so the work methods, will they evolve? I think we have covered some of this, but remote workforce is going to be the new default. By the way, online collaboration is amazingly good. We have used it for quite some time now. It's like I'm typing an email and someone is correcting my phrases and my words as I type. So I have used that for quite some time. It's really amazing. You can't be more productive than that, right? So it's going to be, again, finding the right tech to support this. It's going to be a very much like the mindset that we approached previously. Very much goal oriented. It's not going to be the amount of time, the amount of tasks. It's going to be, did you make it? Did the quality of what you delivered, was it good? That's what matters. So they're going to be very much performance driven teams. So do it good, do it right, do it on time, rather than just, you have to be at the office, you have to do those meetings. That's going to shift. And I do believe it's shifting in a good way. Clear communication. So I've got to say this is a very, very key factor for the future for every one of you that, might be finding a work position or will be finding a work position in the future. Clear communication when you're online, it's going to be critical. Okay, so this is one of the aspects that I'm focusing very much now, because if you're not ready to clearly communicate, or if you feel you want to further develop those soft skills, now is the time. Don't wait for it. Now is the time. Okay. And of course, technology. So I have the pleasure of working in tech. It's a very fast-paced industry, but it's amazing to be part of the focus and to enable this focus, this shift in the market. So it's a very good place to be. Technology demands that we did some remote work in the past, so it was kind of easy for us to adapt. But again, find technology. It's a means to an end. So find the right technology to support your future, your career, and the positive impact that you want to bring to your team on your first assignment on the company that you're part of. Okay, so I'm going to show you just a very brief video of technology of augmented reality. This is not a promotion of any brand. Okay, it's just to give you an example of how the market is using augmented reality, which in this case you're going to see that it's used in a factory, but there are a lot of examples where this scenario is used at home. Okay, so I'm going to show you very briefly. So, guys, I just realized a friend texted me while the video was playing. I do know by this time that he did not hear sound. I'm gonna, ask Senna and the team at Best to share the video with you, or maybe the presentation, because it's interesting to see the ability or the power that technologies can bring to a workforce, okay, or to a company. So, it had captions, so I do know that you could read what was being said, but again, I'll try to share the video afterwards. So let me just move on, because I do believe in Sen. I'm sorry, I'm going over my time, as I think. Work relations, will they change? So I'm going to share what the market is saying. Okay, so one, health above all, like we said. Two, digital everything. Okay, so digital processes, digital work, digital collaboration, digital everything. It's gonna be, it is the new normal. The work-life balance and adaptability. So the work-life balance, and Senna, we were talking a few minutes ago. There's not a very strict answer for that. I'm going to give you my personal example. When I worked remotely about 10 years ago, I had my own schedule. No one told me, come on, I joined Microsoft at that time. There was not, someone, banging over my shoulder every second saying, you have to do this, you have to do that. So you kind of have to empower yourself. So what I did, I did my own schedule. Yeah, I was studying. I was working full time and studying at night. So it was demanding, to say the least. But what I did, I got up as if I were to go to the office. I started working at that time about 8:30 a.m., of course. I had a stop in the middle of the morning. I get out of the house, I had a coffee and come back. I work about, lunchtime. I take about 30, 45 minutes for lunch and for a break. I did, the same method as the morning. So I stopped in the middle of the afternoon, get out of the house. I had about 10, 15 minutes to do so. I had a coffee. I'd come back and I end my day at about 7 p.m. ish. And that was kind of what worked for me, So you really need to find what's your best method, but just keep in mind that you're going to have to adapt more frequently and find a method that does not uh, diminish your productivity, and your positive impact on the company that you work for. So this is it. So, and adaptability as well. Do consider that, this week you could be working remotely, but by next week someone's going to call you and on Monday and say, listen, I need you to be in a couple of meetings next Tuesday, so the day after, or Wednesday, or Thursday, or whatever. So you need to have a system that works for you. You need to be ready to be more adaptive, and do have a good schedule. That's going to help you a lot. Okay. So, guys, this is it. Here's my email, and you can follow us on LinkedIn and so on. Do feel free to share any questions, and I don't know if you have any at this time, but do feel free to reach out. I do enjoy talking to everyone and learning with the people that I get in touch with. So, guys, thank you so much. I'm gonna pass it over to you, Senna.
All right. Thank you, Diogo, for this very interesting talk. Can I ask you to stop sharing the screen, and then we
Yep.
can go to a few questions? We did receive a few.
Okay.
First, do you think we will finally proceed to have shorter working weeks, as was predicted decades ago by many
Well,
economists?
that is an amazing question. So it's we don't have time to go over that question, to be honest. But I would say, because it has a lot of deep impact in the industry, and legally, and the workforce and the productivity. It's a very difficult question to answer. I'm not gonna say that you're moving forward to a shorter work week, but if I understood the question correctly. But I would say that we will all gain if we have a good system at home, or the remote space that we use. We will all have benefits with this. It's going to be, if you're not doing a travel home office every day, you're going to at least 15, 30 minutes. You're gonna take to something else. So that spend it with your wife, with your girlfriend, with studying. I don't know what makes you happy. So that's going to be really, really important and very much useful and beneficial, I believe, for everyone. Yeah.
All right, thank you. We'll definitely be looking forward to seeing how this indeed actually changes. We received another question, and that is more about remote working and its effect on the social interactions between people. Because right now there is always still a bit of a need for people to interact, to build relationships with each other in the workplace, not only for
Yeah.
personal gains, but also for the efficacy of the work. So how do you think this can be affecting the work, and how do you think this can be remedied?
Yeah, very good question. Like I was sharing my opinion, and I do think that you cannot be always 100% remote. You're gonna have to meet the person. There's kind of a human connection that cannot be surpassed if you're remote. You need to be there. So I would say that don't hesitate. If you feel the need to socially interact, don't hesitate to do so. Go to the office. Go shake people's hands. Go have a face-to-face meeting. Do schedule, if you're a very long distance away, do schedule a business trip, and do schedule it for as many advanced time as you can. So if I'm working with a project in Singapore, I'm going to do my budget for the year, and I'm going to, for T&E, travel and expenses, and so on. So I'm going to say, okay, in March and June and August, I don't know, I'm going to have a business trip there. We're probably going to work, and we're probably going to have some lunch or dinners or so on, because that makes sense. That also matters. There's a kind of an emotional component that I don't believe you can subtract entirely. So that would be my advice. That would be what I did and what I will continue to do. Although, yeah, I can work remotely in a very good way. Sometimes I can be more productive as well, but I miss talking to the guys. I miss exchanging ideas. And there are some things you could do. Do more team building events, even remotely. Do share your screen when you talk to some people. Call often. Use the phone. Forget email sometimes. Use the phone, because an email is more emotionally dry, if you get the expression. So I would say use the phone. So find the approach that works best in each case. But I wouldn't, I would say that yes, it affects social interaction, but we cannot just overlook it completely. So try to find a mixed method, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Diogo, for answering this question. It's a complicated issue that will probably take many people a lot of time to exactly figure out, just like the previous one about the work week. But sadly, we don't have more time to delve into this.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure we can keep talking about this for hours if need be. But we'll have to finish this Q&A here. Thank you, Diogo, a lot for being here and sharing your views on the future of work. I believe that all our viewers have gained something from this. You also shared your contact information, so I recommend our viewers to reach out in case they have anything else they would like to discuss. That said, thank you, Diogo, and for the other viewers, you can stay tuned for the next keynote about self-sovereign identity related to blockchain, delivered by a professional from IBM. So stay tuned.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.